She pulls my trigger, got me up alright. It's a danger pretty here in our city. She pulls my trigger, got me up alright. It's a danger pretty here in our city. Here in our city, got me up alright. Here in our city.
Woo! All right, welcome back, riders. What a hell of an episode. Yeah.
That's pretty sick.
Dude. who- should we flip a coin to see who starts, or I mean,
Uh,
I could get
I
into it. It's
well, let's just go, and then we'll just go ahead and go off of that.
all right. So the main thing, right? Conquest. Conquest.
Yeah, very lonely guy.
Very emo sad boy Conquest. So Conquest was nuts. Okay, like the fight scene between him and Mark. First of all, beautifully animated.
Save
There
the
was
budget for that.
there were a couple of shots in there that were like, yeah, tasteful. Conquest is a beast. I like the way that he fights. Very barbaric. You know, how there's like different types of fighter. Like some have more finesse, some have more grace, others
Yeah,
are
he's
more
definitely a guy that, like, no matter what happens to his body, he just won't stop.
right. And so it was cool for for us to see how he that confrontation between him and Mark, and yeah, him just like it almost seemed like a lesson. Like he's trying to like you know what I mean? Like he's trying to teach Mark like yeah, like get better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Show me your stuff. Like I'm just here for the thrill of it. I don't give a fuck if I lose.
Yeah, it was like a boredom.
Yeah. And so I think it was man, I'm trying to think of a character to compare him to. But ultimately, that fight was really nice. Brutal, gory, the amount of destruction on, infrastructure and
Ramming through people again.
Yeah, that scene was nuts. You also have the fact, like, dude, there was so many instances where I thought certain key characters were gonna die. Like,
Oh, I definitely thought Oliver was gonna die. I was like, bro.
dude, yeah, I mean the Oliver thing, Autumn Eve. Oh, did I say Autumn Eve? So, ese cabrón, eso por estar hablando de tu. Anyways, pues, Adam Eve, and yeah, there was just moments where it was like, oh, that's not looking. I literally thought Adam Eve was dead. Like,
I thought, dude, it really shocked me. I didn't think, like, I honestly didn't think they would go that far, which obviously, as you could tell, it had a plot to it. But I was like, damn, really? Like, this is what we're doing?
yeah.
But I mean, even after that, man, that she is OP. Okay.
Okay.
God.
And can we talk about this for a moment? There was a moment in that episode where I was pretty happy that there wasn't plot armor, in the sense of Mark getting pissed off and him having like this explosion of power and like beating Conquest. That wasn't the case, because as angry as he got, in it's like Conquest said, he's like, it doesn't matter. Like, you don't get stronger by getting angrier.
Yeah.
And I love that, because it's like, finally, we don't get that fucking plot armor of, oh, I'm so mad, I'm gonna power up and beat you. It's like, it wouldn't make sense, right? Because Conquest has been fighting his whole fucking life, and he's a full ass Viltrumite.
It kind of did seem like kind of like a lesson. Every time he talked, it was like, hey, you don't get angrier. By getting angry, you don't get stronger. It was like one of those things where it's like, oh, he's just like teaching Mark in a weird way.
But then, they kind of soiled it with the plot armor with Adam Eve. It was like, okay, well, cool. You know, we're seeing a reality with Mark. I literally thought, and there's a point in our recording where I'm like, oh, you know what's gonna happen now? It's because my dumbass thought that fucking Nolan and Alan were gonna come out of nowhere and beat this dude's ass.
I actually forgot about that. That is a good
Yeah,
point. That is a good
that
point, though.
I literally thought that's how it was gonna be, but no, they like Adam E control fucking matter, like living and whatever. And I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, sure, I guess that's cool, but
I kind of liked it. I kind of liked the fact that it wasn't like it was one of those things where it's like Mark still isn't there yet, and like this is how real growth happens in real life. He doesn't just get better all of a sudden one season after the next. You know what I mean? Like he still needs help to fight people. I
mm,
like that, but I also like the expansion of her character, where it's almost like, oh, you just get your whatever things broken into all the time every time somebody punches it. Where it's like, no, she can actually do a lot more. Like she's gonna be
yeah.
a very interesting character, especially now that she's leaking or whatever the fuck that was.
I think she may have an issue. I think they needed to they'd have to dampen her powers um to like not make the story go so nuts because I mean, come on, dude. Almost dropped that. Uh
Because she's super
uh
broken.
yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say so that they don't have her fucking killing off every bad guy who comes along because I don't, for people watching you know, all of any of our writers who aren't familiar, which I'm not saying it would be unusual for you not to know, but anyone who has a semblance of an idea of like how powers work or like how powers, the scale of powers,
Mm.
um, matter manipulation is huge. That's
Oh
why,
yeah,
like, that's like when I saw it, I was like, she's basically an omega level mutant. Like she is that is godly,
yeah,
okay? That type
yeah.
of power. And so it's nuts. Yeah, and I can definitely see them having to do something like, "Oh, better cut this tree down now before it gets too tall." You know what I mean?
I mean, it's literally like it's crazy to me because you're gonna show me that she can make a house out of thin air. So if she controls matter in general, every matter, you're telling me that she can just create a human out of thin air? You know what I mean? Like there's a point where you got to stop her, like in the sense of because then if Viltrumite shows up, what she just
Yeah.
replaces their brain to their heart or some shit. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of crazy.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. They have to do something to dampen her powers, which is what I think that primordial goop was.
Haven
Mark's
news.
Ivanus. No. But yeah, what else? What else? What else? We got Damien Darkblood back in the mix.
That was
Interesting.
interesting, but not a lot of context, which is okay. You
Yep.
know, like it's okay. I like to be surprised.
Yep. And then we got the little squibblings. I don't know what the fuck
I
they're
hate those
called.
shit. I hate that
Yeah.
thing. I don't even know what the fucking point of those are.
They've been dragging it along since season 1. It's kind of annoying.
Did it almost feel to you that Rex's funeral was kind of meh?
Meh.
Like it was
Yeah.
like you showed it because it was almost like one of those moments where it's like, oh shit, we forgot this character died. Hey, let's do a little funeral here.
Yeah,
Leave
yeah.
everybody in their superhero outfits. Nobody dressed in like black and actually like sat down and shit. It was
Yeah.
just kind of like one of those moments where I was like, we're just gonna skip over this, and then you're gonna go to the next season, and it's not gonna matter anymore unless and only to Ray or whatever. But it was kind of weird. Speaking of weird, him taking his name, dude. I don't like that. That's messed up.
That was very, very awkward. And then this fucking monster girl hit him with "I love you, Rex" was
Yeah. Are you gonna hear that stuff in the bedroom too?
jeez.
God
Rex!
dang.
Rex! Explode on me! Wait, what?
Unless that was his
That's
whole
not my last name.
plan, which would be crazy.
Can you imagine?
I was just weird. It was a weird way to go for me because I'm just kind of like, there's no fucking way that everyone around you who's known you for so long is all of a sudden just gonna be like, oh hey Rex,
Yeah.
when this dude that you known for a long time just died. Like I think it's just super stupid to me.
Yeah. It is really out there. That whole idea is out of pocket. It's very cringeworthy.
Yeah.
I don't know what to think about that, but you're right. The funeral was really glazed over. It wasn't as emotional. Like I feel like that had to be as emotionally deep as like him actually dying. Like there was like this huge like when he died, there was like a little bit of a knot in the back of my throat, and I'm like, oh man, fucking Rex, you know?
Mhm.
And nothing with his funeral was just eh,
I
eh,
feel like
eh.
maybe if you would have done the funeral in the same episode, maybe
Yeah,
it would have worked a little bit more. Like he died, they killed all the marks, and they go ahead and have his funeral, and then at the end of the funeral, they're like, we still got to go help the city," and then Conquest shows up. But it's weird to have a big, gigantic, awesome battle with Conquest, and then all of a sudden be like, "Oh yeah, did you remember this guy died?" It's like
yeah.
it's just not the impact
Well,
I was hoping for.
to be fair, I mean, it's
To
not
be
like they
fair,
had a lot of to be fair, it's not like they had a lot of time to like recoup from, you know, the onslaught of Angstrom Levy and fucking all the marks. So
yeah.
they were still in the process of like getting everything back together, which, makes sense
Which
from
in
a
real
logical
life
standpoint.
context, it does. But from a viewer standpoint, it's like weird. Like you
Yeah.
just like the funeral didn't make me feel sad.
Yeah, same. I can agree with that. Um, Other than that, we'll just have to see what the next season brings. I think this is a good stopping point. Um, Before we get into the nerd news, to nerd news, is to go ahead and talk to our writers a little bit about what's going to happen with our channel. Why? Because as I was mentioning this right now about, we're gonna have to see what next season brings.
Yeah, yeah.
So, writers, for those of you tuning in, we mentioned on the last episode, I think during the reaction right before we started, that we had some news. And it's that the channel is going to be reverting back to our roots, which is more of a podcast style where it's Carlos and me just talking about different topics, the same way we sort of do now in the Night Ride.
Yeah, I was gonna
Um,
say.
and we'll be moving away from reactions. Honestly, the reactions take so much time, and with our limited schedule, uh just take a look at like Invincible. It took forever to get through Invincible. um
It's
and
most of
for
you who do YouTube who understand that like not giving you guys the full show because of the
Mhm,
limitations, it just doesn't make it seem like we can show you guys all the fun during the reaction, you know?
yeah, that too. We've definitely had to cut a lot of stuff out, where as when we used to do like our, back in the day, we used to back in the day, like it was so long ago. We have been in it for a couple of years, but
Hey, July
um
man.
yeah, July. And when we first started, we could just talk freely about all sorts of shit and not have to worry about cutting everything out, or we cut out maybe like the fuck ups or the bloopers, but we didn't really have to cut anything out because there was nothing to cut out. Whereas the reaction videos, it is more tedious. We have to worry about the copyright.
Mm,
Um and plus there's the fact that if we ever do get monetized, the fact that we might have to take all those videos down anyway because of copyright strikes, because they can be, what's the word, retroactive? Like they can come back to haunt
they
us
come
at
back
one point.
later, yeah.
Yeah. So we wouldn't want that either. And honestly, yeah, and sometimes and I think you also feel this way as fans of something, the wait is just fucking terrible. Sometimes you just want to watch the show without having to,
No, yeah, yeah, the wait is something really difficult to deal with, especially in the
yeah.
day and age of like spoilers that everyone wants to do super fast.
Mhm. So we're gonna be moving away from that. We're going back to our. We're just gonna kick back, talk about certain topics that we'll get throughout the week, and we're just gonna keep it at that that sort of style and see if that sticks. It's something that I think both of us really like to do. We do like to bounce ideas off of each other, go back and forth, and talk about the stuff that we like. So
Um,
um
That being said, though, we still will talk about besides nerd news if the new season of Invincible comes out, we'll still talk about the episodes that came out. We just won't show you the reaction of us watching that episode. We're talking about like a review most of the time.
Exactly. And honestly, I see so much shit as well. I binge so many, different series and stuff that
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind talking about some of the stuff that I watch. Yeah. Anyways, so writers, hopefully you'll stick along with us throughout these changes. I think it'd be prudent to like actually make a video dedicated to talking about that change aside from the night ride, because I know the night rides it's one thing, but it's basically going to show up like this is us talking about uh the last episode of Invincible season 3. So a lot of people
Yeah.
may glaze over it, but yeah, we're definitely going to do a dedicated video on talking about that change for us. Anyways, with that being said, we want to thank you guys so much for following us throughout these different changes within our journey here on YouTube. And with that being said, let's roll into the nerd news. What do you got for me this week?
Man, I wish I had something cool. I really
Did
do.
we did we not do our homework? Okay, to be fair,
Yeah.
to be fair, um, dude, I love to take one of our, now that we're doing the transition, we definitely got to take the time to talk about Letterkenny. Fuck me, dude. There's barely any like, and I'm not saying we should do a reaction. I'm just saying that like when you look up Letterkenny reactions, there's barely any online, and well, I'm not gonna say anything, but yeah. The thing is it's hard, right? Because
Yeah,
Letterkenny is one of those things that if you have to understand the humor, and like a lot of the things they say just go over your head sometimes. And plus let's be honest, that humor isn't for everybody.
that's
I
true.
feel like. So uh
Well, I know one thing. This is the time of the recording, so basically, when you guys hear this news, you're gonna know what day we recorded. But today they revealed a lot of new news for season 2.5 of Marvel Rivals. So that means nerfs, buffs, new team ups. They're losing team ups, and a lot of different changes that some people are happy with and some people are not, including the introduction of its newest character, Ultron, which is going to
nice.
be. They showed his gameplay. He's a strategist or whatever healer.
Mhm.
But when you see his gameplay, it's like sure he heals because he shoots a beam at his teammate and he heals it. But man, is he a damage character? He's definitely going to be one of those healers who people are going to use for way more damage than actually healing, which might get some people upset because if that's the only healer on your team and they're too focused on damage, it's going to suck for you.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. They took away a lot of team ups like Hulk and Iron Man. That's not a thing anymore. That was like a
Mm,
big deal for a lot of people.
yeah.
Rocket and Punisher, not a team up anymore. Things like that. They nerfed one of my favorite characters, which was Jeff. They nerfed him
Mm,
so hard. Besides taking away his bubbles, which was 6 and is down to 3, one of the biggest downgrades that makes me feel like no one's gonna want to play him anymore is now when you dive, you can only be under for 5 seconds
oh, that's
because
sounds
it's a stamina bar.
okay.
Like when a character can fly, there shows a certain stamina, and then they have to go back down. That's exactly how they're treating Jeff's diving now, which is it for me. It feels like who's gonna play him now then? Like you're gonna get hit, you're gonna get killed so much. How are you gonna run away from Iron Fist? Like
Yeah.
all that stuff really sucks. But there's a couple of buffs for other certain people that they haven't been played in a while and stuff. New map. So yeah, a lot of new Marvel Rivals news. I know that one for sure. A lot of people are going to be talking about that. Starts in
Okay.
June, that new season.
Okay. Cool. Cool. Um I'm gonna cut in with something here before, if you have like another piece of nerd news. So can you guess what band is number one right now on Billboard Top 200?
Billboard Top 200. Uh, I'm gonna say Sleep Token because I feel like
Yes,
I feel like I don't
sir.
know who else you were gonna say.
Yes, sir. Sleep Token with their new album, Even in Arcadia. Um, and so, okay, so obviously, I know that I put you on a Sleep Token, even if you don't listen to them regularly. Now there's a lot of uh discourse with Sleep Token, a lot of debates and controversies because man, people are so divided on that spectrum, love and hate, dude. It's literally there's people who like like the crazies fandom, and then there's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
people who
yeah.
absolutely fucking hate them.
That's with
Um,
everything.
yeah, it's with everything. And to be fair, listen, I really like Sleep Token. I dig their shit, dude. I feel like and for me sonically, as long as it sounds good, I'm not like one of those people like, oh, this is fucking metal enough, or oh, this is poppy as shit, or um, because I like I like all type of music as long as it sounds good, no
Mm,
matter the genre, no matter the
mm.
genre. Like I've always been that way. You could put shit. You could put fucking what's how do you say that in English? Sakura. Um, religious music. I don't
I
know.
know, I know, I know.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Gospel.
yeah, gospel. Thank you. You could put gospel on, and as long as it's sonically pleasing, I'm cool with it.
Mm,
But whatever the genre, and the thing is, yes, I will admit this. There are some songs on this new album that don't click with me.
mm.
Maybe because, obviously, because they're progressive metal. There are certain mashups that they do that aren't as smooth as maybe some of their other, as like some of the songs on their older records. But all in all, I feel like they're very talented musicians. You got to give that at least to them. Like they're very talented musicians. They're going out of their way, to not going out of their way, but they're really propelling you know, rock or metal or whatever the fuck you want to denominate them as genre to people who typically aren't listeners of that
Yeah.
genre. So it's a gateway, right? It's for them to get into that, and then they'll slowly progress into other stuff. Like, shit. You might have a person start with Sleep Token, and then all of a sudden they're listening to fucking Lorna Shore, and then all of a sudden from Lorna Shore they're listening to the fucking Dallas Cowboy, not Dallas Cowboys, the Callous Dowboys. Jesus Christ, the fucking dyslexia. But yeah, the Callous Dowboys. Bill Murray to fucking, whatever the fuck. So I think what they're doing is really good. I'm glad for them that they got there. I'm mad at the fact that we went to see this one band and then Sleep Token was like an opener for that band.
We didn't
And they
know them.
we didn't know them. It's true. They only had like 16,000 followers back then. But I'm so pissed that we fucking missed that. Fucking cigarettes. Anyways, so yeah, that was
Now,
my
any
my
concert I'm gonna go to, if a random band is opening, I'm just gonna buy the T-shirt, bro. I don't give a shit. Because if when they become famous, you'll be like, "Hey, I have the T-shirt from like 2025." So
You're just like a massive poser. Oh, you got anything else to add? Because I know I cut into your nerd news.
I have a. I don't know if you already knew this, but there's some interesting news that I know that you would find very intriguing. And it was touched by an independent company once, which was amazing, and you showed me it. And it was Street Fighter. Remember the independent company that made the Street Fighter movie? And the director who
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Akuma, and it was really good about Ryu and Ken.
Mm-hmm.
Now Hollywood is touching it again.
Mm.
This is going to be a full live action Street
The
Fighter
what?
movie.
The kids?
What?
No, sorry. Bad joke. Bad joke.
Uh, a full live action Street Fighter movie expected 2027 or something like that. Doesn't really tell you exactly who is it about, but I'm assuming it's either Chun-Li or Ryu because it's always Chun-Li or Ryu. Like, who else are you gonna make it about? I mean, I guess. I mean, you can make it about Guile, I guess, if you want to.
Yeah, I
But
mean, theme song's cool, but hasta ahí.
this is why I feel like it's gonna set the tone for you and for a lot of people who love Street Fighter. The strongest leaked rumor is that they already cast Blanca. And this is why it's going to change the whole perspective of the movie for you. Because the person they cast as Blanca was Jason Momoa.
Okay, cool.
It is, but at the same time, such an A-list actor is going to play some dumb guy with like barely any lines and shit. It makes me think that it's just like, okay, where are you taking this? Are you making it silly? You know what I mean? Like he's a kind of a silly guy in a sense, where it's kind of like, how is he gonna portray this? He has the look for it, but I don't know how exactly this is gonna go.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from. I can understand what you mean by silly is basically like, yeah, he's more of his roles within his repertoire or his portfolio of movies. It's not like
It's all
there's
been the same.
there's yeah, but there's not too many. There's not too serious. Too many serious roles is what I mean. Where he doesn't play like these very deep, dark characters. So I get where you're coming from. Obviously for me, I don't know how long it's been since you played a Street Fighter game, but I played the last one that came out. I believe it's Street Fighter 6. Um, anyways, the point is that I played that game, and Blanca is not. I wouldn't call him dumb. It's just different.
Yeah, but is he gonna portray him like the kid who was left in the Amazon by himself, or are we gonna see Blanca in a leather jacket and riding a motorcycle?
No, okay, I get what you're saying.
I don't know.
Uh,
That's just some news that showed up. I know the movie is for sure. That casting isn't necessarily for sure. It could be just a rumor.
hmm. Um, so that's cool. I mean, I feel like as long as they do it right, because I'd 100% take like uh a new Street Fighter movie, but just done in like the style of like that Street Fighter 2 movie that they did back in the day.
The
The
80s?
one, yeah, like in that style where fucking Chun Li fights Vega in the hotel room, and like she was taking a shower, and they'd like show
Oh,
her
you're
tits
talking
and
about the
shit.
animated one. Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes, yes. I thought we were talking about the live action. I was like, bro, they made Bison Puerto Rican. What are you talking about?
yeah. Hey, but
Respect.
respect. But what I was gonna say, if they did like a new version of that in that style, that shit would be dope. I'd be head over heels for something like that.
That would be cool. It's cool.
Anyways, one thing I don't know if you were finished with the Street Fighter thing. I just wanted to cut in with something else.
No, I'm finished.
So I want to talk a little bit about Magic the Gathering because price. So, somebody told me the other day. Shout out Taco. He said something really funny to me, and it's that Magic the Gathering has become the Fortnite of card games, and
Oh shit.
I thought
Is
that
it the
was the most.
collabs?
It's the collabs. It was the funniest thing because he's like, yeah, you go to a table, and then all of a sudden you see Assassin's Creed with Lord of the Rings, Baldur's Gate, and then SpongeBob, and you're like, what the fuck is going on here?
Is it really SpongeBob though?
Oh yeah, they made a SpongeBob set. Oh, I haven't, dude.
Yo,
I
that
know.
that's taking it a little too far, in my opinion. Godzilla
Okay,
and all that stuff, that was cool. Stuff that makes sense, like Lord of the Rings. But you're gonna go with SpongeBob? That doesn't make sense.
dude. People listen. People really like the SpongeBob set. Okay, because it's just cards that already exist reskinned with SpongeBob characters.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense. I think you're talking about like new cards, and this is how it's gonna be, new set and all that stuff.
No, but speaking of that, they are doing that and this is what I wanted to talk about, for Final Fantasy. And
Um, okay.
Final Fantasy that set from Magic, by the way, yeah, I sent you one of the cards from SpongeBob.
I gotta see this. Oh my, that can't be real.
It's real.
It's a counter spell.
It's a counter spell, dude. Yeah. It is real, and it is hilarious. I've seen it a couple of times already, and it makes me laugh every time. But the new set that's coming out, Magic: The Gathering with the Final Fantasy collab, the prices are absolutely astronomical.
I'm
Like,
assuming you're talking about resale.
yeah, because everything's out of stock. Pre-orders are
Shit.
totally fucking gone. Everything's out, dude. Like, listen, this is projected to be the. I think they already determined that it was going to be the highest selling Magic set. Period.
Damn.
Yeah. So it
You know what
is.
Lord Canna should do? It'd be like,
Mm,
oh, that's your projected? Okay, then we're gonna release Kingdom Hearts. See who goes first. Yo.
that would be nuts, dude. I'd listen. Burn a hole in my fucking wallet. But yeah, dude. I just wanted to mention that it's very interesting. Getting to the point where Magic: The Gathering is just doing so many collabs. It's just really out there.
I think it does have to do a lot with Fortnite, and I think, as your friend said as a joke, I think it's an honest truth to it because everything is doing that now.
Yeah.
From Fortnite to Apex to Overwatch, and maybe Marvel Rivals will start doing it, and then all the card games are doing it as well. And it's one of those things where I feel like it's like that's where the money's at.
Yeah.
And everyone's jumping on it because that's where the money's at, even though it could be something silly. And you might get your old heads who might be like, oh, like this is so like not like them, stupid, whatever. But also, money's money, man.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean.
But speaking of Magic, that's another collaboration that's on its way. That I wanted to mention, and that sounds like I'm referencing something that I said before. But what I'm trying to say is they're also doing a collaboration with guess what? Guess what? Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Now, okay, I'm not gonna lie, that'd be pretty cool. Just saying. I mean, you got the elements right there, bro. Just saying. So what's
Right?
Ank's card, huh? Green,
Uh,
red, blue.
no, you know what? I think
bro.
I think he might be actually. Yeah, that makes a
Yo.
lot of sense. Um, and on that same Atlas train, they announced, and I believe this was real. The hold on, Airbender. I'm just looking it up real quick because I know I saw it.
Is it the title for the movie?
Yes.
I did see that.
Okay,
Did see
so
that.
Avatar: The Last Bender, Legend of Aang. Was it?
Yeah, it's basically a story of them in like their 30s or whatever it is, kind of going about doing things before the Korra thing started. Because let's face the facts, the money isn't with Korra, the money is with Aang and his gang.
Right.
The director already expressed, or because I think the original writers backed out or something. I don't remember, but I know that the director expressed the the way the age is, like the way nowadays is, that the entire cast is obviously recast to represent the actual ethnicity that the characters are.
Yeah.
So they're all going to be Asians.
Hey,
and
man.
a Native American, probably. I don't know.
A lot of people talk shit about the live action. I actually quite liked it. I don't know. People were exaggerating.
Whoa, which one?
Not the movie. Not the movie. We don't talk about
We
Bruno,
don't
dude.
talk about that, bro.
No.
I
I'm
liked
talking
it
about
too. I
the
can't wait for the second season.
yeah, same. So I don't know. We'll see, dude. Anyways, do you have any other nerd news? Because if not, I've dragged this along a little too long.
Honestly, I don't, but it's always fun talking about this stuff.
I know. Anyways, riders, thank you so much for joining us on the ride. Hopefully you'll join us on the next one. And until then, peace out.
Peace.